Hello everyone, I invite you to every Monday's cryptocurrency review. Let's start by checking the current situation on the BTC pair to USDT, taking into account the one-day interval. First of all, we will use the yellow line to mark the downtrend line, which the price has overcome upwards. Now we can move on to marking the places of support in the event of a correction. And here it is worth first to mark the first support at $25,965. Then we have the second support at $23,905, the third support at $22,459, and then the fourth support at $20,768. Looking the other way, in a similar way using the fib retracement tool, we can determine the places of resistance. First, we will mark a very strong resistance at $28,794, from which the price bounced several times, but when it comes out higher, we have another very strong resistance at $32,422. As we can see, the EMA cross 10 and 30 indicate an ongoing uptrend. Please pay attention to the CHOP index, which indicates that we have a lot of energy for the upcoming move. The MACD indicator indicates entering a local downtrend. While the RSI is in the process of a slight rebound, but there is still room for a deeper correction. As the second chart in today's review, we will check ETH against USDT, also on a single-day timeframe. First of all, with the help of yellow lines, we can mark the downtrend channel, which the price overcame, while we are currently moving in the uptrend channel, for which we used blue lines. Now let's move on to marking the places of support. We will use the fib retracement tool to mark the support, and as you can see, we have a strong support zone from $1,673 to $1,552 first. But as we go lower, we have a support at $1,462 and then a third support at $1,372. Looking the other way, we can also mark the places where the price should encounter resistance on the way to increases. And here we have the first very strong resistance at the price of $1,828, with which the price has been fighting for several days. When it manages to overcome it, another very strong resistance is at the price of $2,028. The CHOP index, similarly to the BTC situation, indicates that we have a lot of energy for the upcoming move. The MACD indicator is on the verge of entering a downtrend. On the other hand, we see a rebound on the RSI after recent increases. As the third one, we will check the XRP chart, this time on a 4-hour interval. First, we will use the blue lines to mark the uptrend channel from which the price has moved sideways, while locally, we can use the yellow lines to mark the downtrend channel in which we are moving. Let's start by marking the places of support for the price, and we see that we first have support at 49 cents. But if the price goes lower, we have another support at 47 cents, then at 44 cents, and another support at 44 cents, priced at 40 cents. Looking the other way, using the trend-based fib extension tool, we will check the places of resistance that the price has to face. And here we see that the price has to break through the 54 cents to 57 cents strong zone first. Next we have strong resistance at 59 cents, third resistance at 61 cents, and further fourth resistance at 64 cents. The CHOP index indicates that we have a lot of energy to move. The MACD indicates the continuation of the downward trend. While the RSI is in constant recovery and we are in the lower part of the range, which may indicate the approaching end of the correction. Now let's move on to the last DOT chart in today's chart and pair to USDT on a one-day time frame. First, we will use the yellow line to mark the downtrend line from which the price went up. Moving on, we can move on to marking support areas when we start a larger correction. And here we see that the price is just below the first support. Then we have a support zone from $6.11 to $5.93 in front of the price. Third support at $5.74, and then fourth support at $5.49. Looking the other way, we see first resistance at $6.53, then second resistance at $6.86, then third resistance at $7.32. It is worth paying attention to the EMA cross 10 and 30. We can see that the red line of the EMA cross 10 is moving just below the EMA cross 30. The crossing of the green line by the red line can confirm the change of the trend to an uptrend. Please look at the CHOP index, which indicates that we have a lot of energy for the upcoming move. The MACD indicates that we have entered an uptrend, while the RSI has left the downtrend. Technical analysis is provided by a third party and for informational purposes only. It does not reflect the views of CryptoDaily, nor is it intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, or financial advice.